The 67th verse of the Tao Te Ching. Quote, "All the world talks about my Tao with such familiarity. What folly! The Tao is not something found at the marketplace or passed on from father to son. It is not something gained by knowing or lost by forgetting. If the Tao were like this, it would have been lost and forgotten long ago. I have 3 treasures which I hold fast and watch closely. The first is mercy. The second is frugality. The third is humility. From mercy comes courage. From frugality comes generosity. From humility comes leadership. Now if one were bold but had no mercy, if one were broad but were not frugal, if one went ahead without humility, one would die. Love vanquishes all attackers. It is impregnable in defense. When heaven wants to protect someone, does it send an army? No, it protects him with love." Unquote. Living by the 3 treasures. You're being invited to change your life by seeing it through the prism of this ancient verse of the Tao Te Ching, which instructs you on the 3 things you need for a Tao-styled life of success. Mercy is the name used here for the first treasure, but additional terms such as compassion, good-heartedness, love, kindness, and charity have been employed in other translations. You've very likely been weaned on a model of achievement that's measured by accumulation, accomplishment, and acquisition of power and influence over others. Successful people are usually considered to be narrowly focused on their own goals, oblivious to anything but getting to the top, and ruthless in preventing anyone else from getting what they're after. Lao Tzu, however, says that the first and most important treasure is what true courage stems from, not from a heartless and callous attitude. He even tells you that boldness without mercy is a prescription for death. So you're encouraged to think of others first by being willing to serve and exhibit kindness and love even toward your enemies, instead of seeking external indicators to prove that you're successful. William Shakespeare speaks of the first treasure in The Merchant of Venice. Quote, "The quality of mercy is not strained, it droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven. But mercy is above this sceptred sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings." Unquote. The great playwright then reminds us with his next lines why Lao Tzu made mercy the top priority of the 3 treasures. Quote, "It is an attribute to God himself, and earthly power doth then show like as God's, when mercy seasons justice." Unquote. Mercy, compassion, and kindness are all attributes of God and the Tao. Lao Tzu saw this truth many centuries before Shakespeare did. Secondly, the second treasure is frugality, or what was referred to in other translations as economy, moderation, thrift, or simplicity. Now, frugality and moderation don't generally spring to mind when those at the pinnacle of achievement are described. However, according to Lao Tzu, being satisfied with less rather than more results in great generosity. So be willing to take only what you need and don't accumulate or hoard. The less attached you are to your stuff, the easier it is to be generous. The more you cling to it, the more you feel you need, and the less concerned you are with the welfare of others. The third treasure, necessary for a successful life, is called humility, which other translations refer to as not presuming to be above nature, daring not to be ahead of others, and not always trying to be number one. From this quality, Lao Tzu reminds us, comes true leadership that radiates Tao energy. Often, our perceptions of strength, power, and triumph is influenced by the yang masculine qualities of arrogance, loftiness, and self-importance. So when you change the way you think about enlightened leadership, you can discover what genuinely successful people have learned before you. That is, that we're all instruments for Tao or God, or whatever you call the energy that writes the books, delivers the speeches, makes the life-saving discoveries, and so on. Humility is akin to surrendering to a force greater than your ego, giving credit to that source, and being grateful for any wisdom and influence that's given to you by that power. Be humble, stay low, and be a generous, grateful leader. Here are some ways to apply these 3 treasures to your daily life. Live in harmony with the myriad manifestations of the Tao. The key to living in harmony is compassion and mercy. You're not in competition with anyone, so don't feel as if you must defeat another person or compare yourself on any level. Extend mercy and compassion toward every form of life, including yourself. When you radiate love and respect for all, you'll be aligned with the Tao, which will protect you as if you were a baby in the arms of a loving mother. And see the strengths of simplicity and humility in those whom you may have previously judged to be weak or ineffective leaders. Those who practice frugality and refuse to hoard or engage in conspicuous consumption deserve to be viewed as strong examples of how to guide others, whereas those who speak and act forcefully while stockpiling more and more goods are not in harmony with the Tao. Moreover, such individuals' actions tend to contribute to more dissension, and as Lao Tzu reminds us here, those who go ahead with boldness and without deference will die, and I hasten to add, will lead others to their deaths as well. As you notice example of simplicity and humility in those who are in positions to lead, make every effort to emulate the same qualities in your own daily interactions. Do the Tao now. Choose a conversation in which you can practice the three treasures by using an economy of words. While attempting to make a point in conversation, for instance, stop yourself after a moment or so and use your talking time to listen. You'll be employing all three of Lao Tzu's treasures at one time. You'll have mercy for the person with whom you're conversing by being frugal with your words and humbly refusing to be ahead of or above your conversational partner.